Hi, I'm Dawn and this is where Shabby meets Bling. I have not only been thrifting, but I've been flipping. And tonight I'm going to transform some overlooked items from the thrift shop into beautiful decor for inside and out. Welcome to Last Thing Thrifted, a Creator's Choice collaboration. My guest hosts tonight are Sue from Susie on the Farm, Jody from Jody at Southern Seasons, Shelly from Repurposed My Way, Monica from Up All Night DIY, and Tracy from Tracy Vanover Designs. You're going to find the link to this playlist and their fabulous channels in the description box below. Thrifted Flip number 1. Another successful shopping trip, or should I say thrifting trip. I picked up these old baseboard electric heater covers. I found 3 of them and they were $3 each. I guess 3 was the number of the day. I even picked up this Rubbermaid, not really what it is, I don't think, but this large storage bin for another $3. And then I found this thing. I don't know what it was. So they actually gave it to me because I didn't know what it was. And I also found this old, partially rusty metal hose hanger. I love it, know what I'm doing with it. I even found this, and this, and this, which will be appearing in the Bridal Fair series, so keep your eyes open for that. But right now, my focus is on these fabulous old baseboard heater covers. And I'm gonna give them a nice little cleanup job, get these stickers off of them, and then we're gonna paint them. Yes, we're gonna paint them. And no, I didn't get them to replace other baseboard heater covers. I am going to put them outside in my garden. This space is where I have planted some raspberry bushes. I do have other edibles planted in my yard. I love to garden. And this space is where those fabulous heater covers are going to go. My inspiration was this sign, this enamel sign. Absolutely love this. Now this cute little farm to table sign is white with black lettering. My vents are going to be black with white lettering, which has me starting with this Rust-Oleum high gloss spray paint. It needs to look like enamel. I have chosen to go black on white because it will be hanging on my cedar fence and I want it to really pop, to really stand out. Plus it will complement that little sign. I am giving it a really good coat of that white high gloss paint, and once dry I'll come back and I will hit it again. And while it's drying, in between coats, I need to figure out my design. How am I going to actually put something on here that will complement the sign and yet stand out as a decorative piece on its own, and utilitarian. So I'm going to create my own sticky stencils, and I'll leave the link to that video in the description box if you haven't seen it, so you can see what I'm talking about. And I'm going to create a border, and I'm gonna put some verbiage on here. And I figured this is appropriate because I am a backyard farmer. I grow fruits and veggies in my backyard, plus flowers. And my yard was established in 2003. That's when I started planning. And of course it's open daily. I can walk outside anytime I want. And I am going to add a little bit of flourish here and there. And I think that will about be it with the amount of space I have to work with. I have cut out and applied my sticky stencils, as well as given them a sealer coat with that same spray, that exact same white spray paint. And once completely dry, I am going to spray paint them that high gloss black. I'm treating the first coat almost like another sealer coat because I really don't want this black to bleed in underneath my sticky stencils. The sticky stencils, they went on well, but not like fabulous because I believe it was the gloss paint. Never used it on gloss paint before, so this will be kind of a test. So first coat will be very light, and then I'll come back with a couple real serious coats. 2 coats later, it's time to remove the sticky stencils. And as always, I'm using my fancy heat gun. It's my blow dryer. It's my blow dryer and my tweezers. And you heat these little guys up and they just peel right on off. And you just have to be careful not to get too crazy with your tweezers so that you don't scratch your paint. And as of right now, everything's looking pretty darn good, so I'm pretty darn happy. Pretty darn happy. This is me shopping at Walmart. I am going to pick up a few things for my garden, and I am going to get some thyme, some English thyme, and I'm going to get some packets of catnip and fun stuff like that because I have kitties. Yes, I do. I have kitties. How about you? Thrifted flip number 2. On to this goofy thing. This thing had so many price tags on it, it wasn't funny. I think it probably went through a couple of garage sales and then finally made its way to the thrift shop where no one knew what it was, not even me. I have no clue what this could have been, not with the hanger on the back. It kind of made no sense. I think it was handmade, but that's okay. When I saw it, I knew what I was going to do with it. So first thing is to get the stickers off and give it a light sanding. Enough so to make sure I get all of the finish off of it because we will be painting this. You know we will. John Jones paints everything. Once I'm done sanding, I'm going to create a back for it or a bottom. Let's say bottom, shall we? I just lay this goofy little wood cutout on some scrap Luan, trace it, and then I'm gonna cut it out with my jigsaw. Simple. I prep this piece as well with a little bit of sanding, and then I am going to proceed to the fun stuff, the paint. And I have chosen some very pretty, unusual colors. Pretty and unusual colors for this project. These adorable little vintage carnival pick-a-ducks. I picked these ducks up at a garage sale last summer. And I was lucky enough to get them for $1 each. They are the inspiration for my color palette for this project. My primary color is going to be this pumpkin chalk paint from Hello Hobby. It's, I believe, a Walmart brand. And I am going to paint the entire thing. I'm calling it a thing because we still have yet to determine what this thing is. So this whole thing, I am painting the whole thing, this pumpkin orange. I will also be painting the bottom of that piece of Luan. The bottom of it, I will paint this pumpkin orange as well. Everything is dry, and now I'm just gonna temporarily lay this on top, and I'm going to trace out my 3 circles because I want to paint something in these 3 circles that will be visible when this thing is actually glued together. I'm using this beautiful Waverly pink cloud. So pretty. Looks just like the color of my little pick-a-ducks. So pretty. So there's my 2 colors. It will take a couple of coats for me to cover that Luan, and it needs to be covered well. Now for another color. This is not the pink cloud. This is the pink ballet slipper, which is also a Waverly chalk paint. And if you were to take the orange, the pumpkin orange, and this ballet slipper and combine them together, you would get that pink cloud. And that's how well these 3 colors blend together. They complement each other beautifully. I will continue to paint all 4 of the little inside rims of these cutouts. I have once again used some of my handmade sticky stencils, and I've placed them in the center of each of these circles, and then I gave a little sealing coat of that pink cloud over top of them. Now it's totally dry, so I'm coming back over with black because I want that pretty pink cloud number to stand out with this black surround. This ink is actually the name of it, and it's Waverly and it is a chalk paint. With my ink chalk paint dry, I am removing my little sticky stencils, and I'm just using my blow dryer to do so, and a pair of tweezers. Now to glue that 4-hole thingamajig onto that little back with the little numbers on it, and I am using wood glue. And once I get the wood glue on here and get the two pieces together, I will be clamping it. As I clamp, I am making sure that any glue that is visible is wiped away. And then I will let it sit overnight to dry. After I remove my clamps, I will gently touch up some of my paint, but first I'm going to take my sanding block and sand all my edges to make sure they're uniform. I want this little piece to look like it's all one, like it was just one giant chunk of wood and those circles were cut out of it, leaving a base. I will also lightly sand where my clamps were because they did leave a little bit of an impression in my chalk paint. Back to the pink cloud chalk paint. I am using it to paint the bottom edge of the piece we just glued to the thingamajig. So I'm gonna paint this all the way around, and then I'm gonna use this stuff. It is a ribbon, not really, but sorta kinda. It's classified as a ribbon, but it's actually plastic. Oh, you know what it reminds me of? For real? Cassette. It's like a cassette tape. That's exactly what this reminds me of. I will be gluing it around the top of that little pink cloud line we just painted. And these wood pile finial caps will become feet for our little thingamajig. I also thrifted these vintage barrel of beer bottles. Say that. Barrel of beer bottles, barrel of beer. I thrifted these 4 bottles for $1 each, and I will be doing something special with these. And I will also be adding these, some of those numbers from a calendar. I did not pick up the calendar, didn't want it, but I did pick up the little numbers and so on and so forth. And I'm going to be using some of these. Oh, I just thrifted this too. I can't stop myself. $2, solid wrought iron. Woohoo! Does that look familiar? I thrifted it. But now it's time to show you all the transformed thingamajig and those old electric baseboard heater covers. So we started out with this weird thing and ended up with this. Isn't it cute? Isn't it sweet? What is it you say? Oh, it's a multitude of things. A multitude of things. But first, let's admire our adorable little ducks, our little pick-a-ducks. What a great find at a garage sale. And check out the trim, that ribbon. It's not ribbon. We know it's not ribbon, but it looks like metal ribbon. It looks like rusty metal ribbon. And I chose to keep the 2 center feet natural, and you'll see why in a little bit, and the 4 exterior feet black. But it's a cute little platform, and we're gonna take a look at one of its uses right now. I've made a carnival game. It was inspired by carnival pickup ducks, so let's make a game out of it. You could also use quarters instead of a ping pong ball. How about a vase rack? I am using those really amazing vintage barrel of beer bottles. Once again, barrel of beer bottles as vases. And I have added my little dates from the calendar, drilled a little hole, some wire, and they are numbered. And you could number what part of the garden they came from. You could designate it as a specific flower. And the colors are beautiful. I find oranges and pinks so pleasing together. Or how about a flight of beer? Why not? A flight of beer, a flight of wine, a flight of root beer. That's what I'm doing right here. Any type of sampling at all, any type of tasting, why not? So many different options for this cute little thingamajig, this whatnot, this abandoned, overlooked item. Now to see what happened to these baseboard heater covers. Remember, this was their intended destination. Let's take a look once they're hung. Here they are hanging on my fence, right where I want them, but you ain't seen nothing yet. I've got gardening to do. Oh, hold on, hang on. Here we go. Boom. A couple hours later, and here is this section of my garden. I am so happy, so thrilled with the way this little area came out. And look at those electric baseboard heater covers. Would you ever figure? Would ya? Because I don't think so. I don't think so at all. You may have noticed there's a black and white enamel sign hanging as well. I thrifted it for $5.50. I can't stop. Don't stop. Here's a closer look. I am so happy with these little things and the little vents that they all open and close beautifully. And how about that for drainage? You could hang these in your home as well. Put a different saying on there, put them in your kitchen. You could put spices in here, anything you desire. Don't overlook items just because you don't have a use for their intended purpose. Make something gorgeous out of somebody else's unwanted items. This poor little crock, she has seen better days. She has no bottom. She's bottomless. She's broken. And I saved her just for this purpose. I put her in my garden and I planted a plant inside. The plant is planted in the ground. Here you see what I like to call a spire. These are old drain pipes. These were found in the gully behind my house. They must have been from the original eave spouts, and we plucked them out and I created these little spires out of them. I came across these two very large round ball finials, and they are a solid high density foam. With a PVC pipe in the middle, I glued them all together, and there you go. Thanks again to Susie, Jody, Shelly, Monica, and Tracy for joining me in this edition of The Last Thing Thrifted, a Creator's Choice collaboration. You're going to find the links to their channels and this playlist in the description box below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, share it with your family and friends and anyone that loves thrifting, thrift flips, or decor. You can follow me on Instagram, and don't forget to check out my shop on Etsy. Leave me a comment. I would absolutely love to hear from you. The best way to support my channel is to subscribe, so don't forget to subscribe. But for now, this is Dawn with Shabby Meets Bling. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.